Hello, I am Chloe Fowler. I am a food allergy mom, and I would like to thank everyone for joining us today to talk about the proposed communication campaign for an increased awareness about food allergies among elementary students. It is a campaign called No Nuts, No Butts. Thank you. During this program, we will be discussing what a food allergy is, why we should be more concerned with food allergies than we have been. We will also discuss the food allergy prevalence in children. This is increasing greatly. And I would like to share a personal note. It is called Mathis's story. This is discussing the progress of my youngest child with his own personal food allergies. This is also Mathis's story is also why it has become more important to increase awareness among children. We will also discuss how children themselves can help prevent exposures amongst their friends. We will also cover some key points to remember, and then we will wrap it up with our conclusion. So what exactly is a food allergy? Well, according to the Mayo Clinic, a food allergy is an immune system reaction that occurs soon after eating a certain food. Even a tiny amount of allergy-causing food can trigger signs and symptoms such as digestive problems, hives, or swollen airways. In some people, a food allergy actually causes severe symptoms or even a life-threatening reaction known as anaphylaxis. In recent years, we have seen an increase in the food allergy prevalence amongst children. People of all ages have increased occurrence of food allergies these days, but we're seeing more and more of it in children. Food allergies affect 6 to 8% of children under the age of 3 years old. And this is a detrimental time when that child may or may not be able to clearly express what is happening to them, and we may not get a good enough warning of what is actually occurring. 4 million children under the age of 18 suffer from food allergies. This is a lot of children. Food allergy, there's a huge difference between food allergies and food intolerance, and this is something that we need to be very clear upon. Food allergies lead to a life or death situation. It is something that cannot be controlled. It is going to happen whether we like it or not, and we need to be aware of it. Food intolerance, however, is not life-threatening. It does not affect the immune system, and it can be something so simple as just not digesting vegetables very well, increased gas, indigestion, that sort of thing, but it isn't actually going to cause long-lasting harm to the individual who's suffering from it. People who experience food allergies are more likely to have skin allergies, respiratory allergies, and asthma. The symptoms that were discussed at the end of the last slide give us a good idea of who may be more prone to a reaction from a food allergy or an allergy exposure in general. The number of children with food allergies has increased by 50% between the years of 1997 and 2011. This is a huge increase when you think of how many children are within school classrooms that actually are suffering from food allergies. 1 in 13 children in the US has a food allergy, and 15 million adults and children are affected by food allergies. This is a lot of people. Granted, this is many different allergies. A large one that we see in our school system and in our home is the peanut or nut allergies. As I was saying, in our home, we are no stranger to allergies. Our first child started out with some environmental allergies, which seemed like a breeze to deal with compared to the food allergies that we had the pleasure of experiencing with our second. This story is Mathis's story. He is a very happy, loving, Lego loving 6-year-old boy. He is in first grade and does very well. However, now and again, we have some issues with reactions to foods. As a baby, at just a few months old, he had reactions to antibiotics. He now is able to only take a few antibiotics when needed because most of the common ones that are given cause very bad things to happen to him. He ends up with digestive issues and massive amounts of hives all over his little body. And this is rather unpleasant when you are already ill. He also started to show warning signs as a baby when we were introducing baby foods to him. Later, we ended up with a severe hive outbreak after eating chopped up eggs for breakfast. You know, every little child loves to eat the food that everybody else in the family is eating. Well, in his case, it landed us as an emergency visit to the allergist. A few months later, as the weather became nice, he was loving up on our dogs in the backyard, and he ended up with trails of hives all over his exposed skin where the dogs had been kissing him. He later ended up being allergy tested at 6 months of age because that was as early as they could do a skin test for him. He tested positive to many, many things. He ended up with an additional allergen test at 1 year of age because at that point we were able to test a larger area on his little body. You can imagine how traumatic this is for a small child as well as from a parent standpoint. This is your baby. You don't want anything to happen to them, but yet you know you need to protect them. He was then retested again at age 5 for the egg allergy to see how well he had adapted to them. He is luckily no longer allergic to eggs. However, he absolutely despises them because in his mind, he is still allergic to eggs. He has also had blood tests to check for peanut allergens. We had hoped that he would be able to undergo some sort of immune strengthening tests so that he would not die from a peanut exposure in the future. However, his blood tests show that he does not possess the certain antigens for this peanut allergen, so he is not a safe candidate to go under this progressive testing. So unfortunately, there's nothing else we can do to protect him at this point in his life other than increased awareness for his own safety. I'm sure you remember from our previous slides that some sensitivities can make you more prone to allergic reactions. We know with this child, despite any previous allergic reactions within the family, he is allergic to cats and dogs. Cats are on the top of the list with peanuts. This is a child that loves all things small and furry. Imagine how much fun it is to keep him separate from these things. He's allergic to several antibiotics, therefore he is hard to treat when he is ill. He is allergic to a variety of grasses, tree pollens, and molds. This is an outdoor kid. You cannot keep him cooped up in the house despite the fact that he is having an allergic reaction and the house is his safe zone. He has sensitive skin. He has eczema. He also has asthma. With these things in his life, a reaction to a peanut becomes all the more life-threatening because his body is prone to react quickly. He has food allergies to eggs, peanuts, and tree nuts. He still has a minimal reaction to the flu shot despite no longer testing positive for an egg allergy. Because of this, we receive our flu shots in the allergy pulmonology specialist office. This photo is a picture of his back from his 5-year-old testing. Up on his right shoulder, you see the control histamine allergen. This is just a few moments into the test. He has not been poked very long prior to this picture being taken. I would like to share with you what happens within a season of the life of Mathis. First of all, as the weather warms up and it's beautiful, of course, he is outside and he is playing nonstop. We are constantly looking for weird rashes that pop up on this child, and he is full of them. Here we have pictures of a patch of hives that has broke out on his cheek. We have lots of fun trying to guess what he was exposed to when these happen. In the recent years, we have discovered that he has had very adverse reactions to mosquito bites. They will swell for unknown reason. His body does not like them. They swell up, and he has large golf ball sized lumps on his arms and legs or wherever he was bitten at. For this reason, we have a wide selection of Epi Junior pins that are kept around the house in my purse. My husband has stashes in the car. Yes, you are not supposed to have them in a warm environment. So we have a little bag that has Mathis's emergency kit for when he is traveling with mom and dad. There are also emergency items at grandma's house and at his favorite Aunt Patsy's house where he likes to spend time. Everyone has the Epi Junior pen. They have all been briefed on how to use it. Benadryl is a mainstay. Germ-X can help get rid of the immediate touch exposure to an allergen. It is then very important to have that area washed off quickly, but for immediate contact, it is very helpful for killing that item. We have an assortment of hydrocortisone creams. He has backup nebulizers. He has maintenance inhalers for just general fun so that he can keep running around the yard like a crazy man and participating in gym class. He also has emergency inhalers. These we have to take with us when we are hiking, when he is going to have any sort of really fun activity. He needs to go see the nurse prior to gym class to make sure that his airway is still open and he isn't out there wheezing while he's playing, because he does not stop. We have safe zones that have been established. Our house is a safe zone. We make sure that all outside clothing is removed as soon as you have entered. No pets. We do not have pets in our home any longer. My sister went so far as to try to find a hypoallergenic dog for him to visit at her house because she was wanting to get a pet. God love her for trying to find a dog that is hypoallergenic. Yes, they do breed them. Dogs of poodle descent are supposed to be more hypoallergenic. This did not work for Mathis. He is allergic to the protein in the dog's spit. This is where you get a lot of reaction from the animal dander, because animals lick themselves, grooming themselves, and then it is in the dander that eventually flakes off of their body. Label reading was a huge one. Yes, he is 6 years old. We taught him how to recognize the word peanut and nut and tree nut when he was able to identify letters. His brother, who is 4 years older than him, has also been very, very helpful for helping him read labels and make sure that it was safe for him to eat treats. Over his very short 6 years of life, Mathis has had a lot of exposures and a lot of outbreaks to many, many different things. While we have a very great team looking out for us, this doesn't help us feel all that safe with him going out into the big world. He has been to the allergist so many times, and he is so great with the testing that when they needed to revamp their advertising campaign, they called us. We did an interview for our local Mahaska Health Partnership, and this is a picture of Mathis with his lovely allergist. Melissa has helped us so much over the years, and he is actually their poster child now. If you would like to look at the full article of his story, you can go to this link and check it out. They really are wonderful, and they helped a lot. Another part of the team that looks out for him is our school principal and our school nurse. The principal actually suffers from peanut allergies herself, and her daughter has peanut allergies. So that has helped a lot with introducing safe ways to integrate this into the school system. However, last September, after he had started first grade, he was exposed to some peanut dust that was in the seat on the school bus that another child was eating. Most of us are aware that a lot of the schools will hand out snack packs or backpacks filled with food to people who need it. And in this case, that is what happened. There were some peanuts in a baggie that were on their way to be taken home by this young child. And the child was eating on the bus despite the fact that there are no rules. Pardon me. This is kind of upsetting for me. There is a rule in place that no one is supposed to be eating on the bus, period. Well, Mathis did not want to change seats. He wanted to stay in the seat with his friend. As soon as he arrived at our front door, my husband noticed that he had hives on his hand. Luckily, Matt is a master at the action plan and immediately went into gear and sanitized him, doped him up with Benadryl, and immediately called me, who then called the school, and the chain was contacted. We contacted the principal, we contacted the allergist, there was a huge workup on this. The bus was sanitized. He was not allowed to ride the bus for a week because it had to be thoroughly cleansed. The children all had to be notified, and it was a mess, and it was scary. I am just very thankful that he is the first one on the bus and the first one off of the bus at night. So it really cut down on his reaction time. We were able to treat him very quickly. However, with this type of exposure, you end up having extra reactions after the initial contact. So you have the initial contact, which could be breaking out in hives. Later, within several hours, he will have a massive hive reaction again, even though he has been treated. He ends up not feeling well for a few days afterwards. It can end up going into a rough few days. Luckily, we didn't get any GI symptoms out of this. It could have been so much worse than what it is. And this is why we need to increase awareness amongst children. This child who was eating on the bus didn't think he was doing anything wrong. He was hungry. He didn't know that this peanut could kill his friend who's sitting in the seat next to him. So we need to raise awareness amongst these children so that they can protect each other. Many of you are thinking right now, how can children save another child from an allergy attack? Well, kids are constantly looking out for each other, and this is something that we are teaching them right now as elementary students, is to care about others and report bullying and look out for danger and school safety, bus safety, how to walk home without being snatched by someone. This is all part of a child's world to keep them safe and provide a safe learning environment. No Buts, No Nuts can help create a safe learning environment amongst friends. The name is kind of goofy, but wordplay helps to stick in the heads of children. Children are a parent's main line of defense in the event that a peanut allergic child would be exposed during school, daycare, birthday parties, or during daily events, sporting events, things like that are just part of kid life. Luckily, we do have some television shows that we can refer to help promote this information into their daily lives. You can find books and media that is produced by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or at the Food Allergy Research and Education Foundation, also called FAIR. These sites have a wealth of information, but unfortunately many people do not look for it. The American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology also contains information for all ages and educational levels. There is a wonderful branch of the site called Just for Kids that actually contains learning games to help integrate this information into their lives. Ideally, I would like to see this type of information be integrated through the social counseling sessions that are provided for our children during the day at elementary school. If this is just promoted as part of general kindness, respect, and group safety, children are going to be more likely to make this just a normal everyday reaction for looking out for their buddy who is allergic to peanuts or tree nuts or other food allergens. I would like to promote the need amongst these children to keep your friends safe by looking out for each other, being able to spot dangers, also dangers from food allergens. There are many, many educational programs with games and videos that could be integrated into the daily classroom to make this a bigger, more important part of the child's learning. There are newsletters, handouts, and other fun promotional items that can help develop discussions with parents and guardians once these children are home. Plus, everyone loves to get free stuff. So now that we have discussed how to get this information to children, let's discuss a little bit about how the children can actually help prevent exposure. First of all, we need to begin with teaching the kids who can have a food allergy. The answer is that anybody can have a food allergy. Food allergies can happen to people of all ages, from little bitty babies, in Mathis's case, to grandparents. Many women actually find out that they have food allergies or other allergies when they go through menopause, just because of the changes of their bodies. Boys, girls, and people from all over the world, and even animals, can have food allergies. And that is also important. There may be a reason why your dog doesn't like that dog food. They could be allergic to something in it. They're just not being picky. Kids and adults that have other allergies, like dust, pollen, or pet dinner, are more likely to have food allergies. It may be something that they just haven't discovered yet, or it's been cloaked by the symptoms from these other allergens that they have been having issues with. It is also important to teach these children what happens if a friend actually touches or eats peanuts or any other allergy foods. The answer is that more than one thing can actually happen to your friend. Sometimes things happen inside the body that cannot be seen, and that's why it is very important to know what your friends are allergic to ask questions about what they're eating, and that's fine. It's not being nosy. This is helping your friend be safe. Also, you need to look for the obvious signs that are skin rashes, itching, and hives. Sometimes you get some red blotchiness around their mouth. That is a sign. Swelling of lips, tongue, or throat. They may not be talking as clearly as they normally do. They might sound funny, like they have come from the dentist. There is a shortness of breath, trouble breathing. There is kind of a whistling sound that goes with the closing of the airway. This is very important. If you have any questions and you aren't sure, just go find an adult. Your friend may get dizzy. They could faint. This is due to a flux in the blood pressure. They may get stomach pain. They may throw up or get diarrhea. This is usually something that will last for days. These symptoms will, as the allergen leaves their body. Often they end up going to the doctor and they have to take medicine to get rid of these symptoms. All right, so now we know what to look for. So how can you keep your friends safe from these things that can happen to them? Just be a good friend. Look out for dangers that can make your friends sick, that have peanuts or food allergies. Um, Read labels. Look for words on wrappers like nuts, milk, wheat, eggs, or soy. Or ask an adult to check for you if you aren't sure. Do not eat snacks on the bus, in the hallway, or the classroom without adult permission. Make sure to wipe your tables down and play areas with Clorox or Lysol wipes. That will help kill anything that may be on there. Often a little bit of microscopic dust could be the trigger that can cause your friend to have to go home from school because they are now ill. Wash your hands. Hand washing is good for lots of things. It not only kills germs and prevents the flu from spreading through your class, but it can help keep your friends safe as well. You can pass allergens the same way that you can pass germs. Germex or hand sanitizer helps prevent the allergens from being passed to begin with. So if you can't wash your hands right then, use the Germex or the alcohol rub that is available. When using this alcohol solution, it is very important to wash your hands as soon as you get the chance because soap and water is always the best. So what happens when all else fails? Yes, a child can handle this situation, and most likely they are going to be the one that can get help the fastest. Children with allergies always have emergency plans with them at all times. Or we hope that they are within the area, whether the EpiPen is at the nurse's office or with the parent or vice versa. The number one thing that a child can do if their friend is in distress is get an adult. From there, the plan includes the use of the epinephrine auto-injector. We see here in the picture that there are a variety of types. Some of these are simple enough they can be used by a child if the need arises. There are inhalers, and most of all, while this adult is being found or the adult is taking care of the child, the other child can call 911. Now that we have talked about the different aspects of the No Nuts, No Butts campaign, let's review. Our goal for the No Nuts, No Butts campaign intends to bring awareness and increase compliance and prevention techniques among peers, caregivers, and ultimately community members regarding food allergies. This is something that is very important and will impact these children for their whole lives. Our objectives of this campaign is to increase regular hand washing in schools, decrease the occurrence of exposures for food allergic individuals, bring awareness to acceptable substitution foods that are safe to replace that good old PB&J. This particular item is something that is not as common among informational programs about food allergies. There are many things available, but they are not well advertised. The program would like to also help children know if a friend may have been exposed and how to help them. In conclusion, part of the appeal of the No Nuts, No Butts campaign is one of friendship and togetherness or promoting positive emotions amongst children in a very scary situation. The name No Nuts, No Butts may have a humorous ring to it, but will also appeal to the school age group. It is really intended to express the no excuses attitudes towards foods that can cause allergic reactions and are very, very dangerous to these children. Many schools use a similar standard for zero tolerance when it comes to the bullying platform that is also being introduced to these students. It is long beyond time for people to stop arguing about how other children's food allergens affect their own children in school and other places such as daycares and things like that, and actually become involved in protecting these children. Children are very good at protecting each other, and we as adults need to remember this, that in large groups, that is when exposures happen. So we need to focus and protect each other. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my talk on food allergies, and I hope that you will take some very helpful information out of this for future use. If you have any further desire to read up more on food allergies, or you would like to find some extra information for your own personal use, all of the websites listed in these references are very, very helpful. Again, thank you and have a good day.